All right, the first form that we're going to alter is the first form that we drew. We're going to take this little box that we made up here in the upper left corner, and we're going to turn it into a cabinet. This could be like a medicine cabinet or a kitchen cabinet, or any kind of cabinet you have hanging out anywhere. The first thing that we need to do is to create some doors on this cabinet, so it's not just a cube on the wall. We're going to do that in the easiest way possible by just kind of carving them out of the existing structure. We're going to make a line that's parallel to the front, and then a line that goes to the vanishing point and turn the front part into our doors. So I'm going to start with my ruler, and I'm going to make it perpendicular to the horizon line, and make a very skinny rectangle here on the side, and then give me just 1 second to take it back to the vanishing point, and then you can go ahead and do it. Just like that, those will turn into our doors. Go ahead and do that. In this project, you will need to find the middle of a plane. When I'm talking about a plane, I am talking about a surface like this. That is a plane. This is a plane over here. When you're trying to find the middle of a plane that is flat like this, it's easy. You can just measure for the middle. But when something is receding into space, you're trying to find the actual center, not like the middle of the form, like where it would be. But you know, since it's going further away, the middle isn't going to look like it's right in the middle. So we have to do it a little bit differently, right? What you do to find the center is what I call X marks the spot. So I'm going to take my ruler and line it up corner to corner. And guys, please watch, and then you can do this. I'll go corner to corner like this on the front of this plane, and then I'm going to make a line about in the middle. And then I'll go the other way, corner to corner on the plane. X marks the spot. That's the center of that plane, right? Then to draw my doors, I take my ruler and I make it perpendicular to the horizon, and I go straight through the middle, just like that. And then I've got to end it down here, just like this. See where we're going from here? We're going to take the rectangle at the bottom, the cube, and turn it into a coffee table by carving out legs. You can see that this structure would very easily become a kitchen table or a side table or a bed, right? It's the same kind of structure. You just change the proportions. If you want it to be a bed, you make the legs really short, and you make this part really fat, and you've got a mattress. So it's the same kind of thing. You just have to change the proportions. But we're going to make coffee tables because that's where I put this. So the first thing we're going to do is really similar to up above when we were turning this into the door fronts. We're going to turn this top into a tabletop. So let me zoom in just a sec. All right, I'm going to take my ruler and make it parallel to the horizon, pull it down as wide as I would like the top of the coffee table to be. Just great. And then I'm going to take my ruler and go back to the vanishing point, just like this. Okay. Depending on how big your rectangle was and where you put it, yours might be differently shaped. It's okay if yours is differently shaped. You just need to know that it might be different and still correct. All right, home price. We need to do the front table legs. The front table legs should be the same width. If we want something to be the same width, we got to measure it. All right? So you can have whatever measurement you want for your front table legs. I am going to have 1/4 inch because that's easy to find. So I'm going to line up my ruler with this bottom line. Make sure that it's parallel. I'm going to go over to 1/4 inch. So 1 inch is by the 1, 1/2 is in between, 1/4 is the next smallest here. and I'll make a vertical tick mark. And then over here, I have to move the ruler a little bit because I didn't measure it to be exactly 2 inches, so I gotta scoot it over so that that will be 1/4 of an inch as well. If I make these little tick marks, then I know that my table legs will be even on the front surface. Next, I'm going to take my ruler and make it perpendicular to the horizon. Make sure that it's parallel to the side of the box over here. Draw a line down. And then slide it over here and draw a line up. All right, so next we need to erase this line down here because we don't need it anymore. Okay, and then right now, this front leg is flat like a piece of paper. And this front leg is wide and just as thick as the top going all the way back. But we want it to get carved out so that it has table legs like this. So we're going to start with this side, making our lines right here and right here. Okay? So I'm going to go over here with my ruler, keeping it parallel to the front part of this and perpendicular to the horizon. I'm just going to decide how fat I want it to be and draw a line going straight down. All right, and then I'm going to go back here and do the same thing, but make it really skinny because it's far away. There are formulas to figure out exactly how thick it needs to be. I'm not going to get into that much detail. If you are interested, we can talk individually about that. Okay, but just make sure if it's further away, it got littler. And then we're going to erase this converging line just where it's in between our 2 table legs. Next, we need to draw this little back leg. When I'm drawing this little back leg, you can see I have this side of it done, but now I need to draw the front side of it because it'll look exactly the same as this, but teeny and back here. So I'm going to take my ruler, bless you, and make it parallel to the horizon. Make sure that it's right where this little end is. And I'm just going to draw a little line over and a little line up. Depending on the shape of your coffee table, you might not be able to get the little line up. You might only get the little line over, and that's okay, right? So I went over and then up. Leg, we want to make sure that in reality, this leg and this leg are the same size, right? Right. So in order to figure out what the same size is, I'm going to line my ruler up so that it goes to right here, but is parallel to the horizon. See what I'm doing? So it's right there. And I'm going to come over here. Oh, do you know what? I have to do it. Please excuse me, we'll do that part in just a moment. I forgot there's one step first. The step first is drawing this line where it's going back to the vanishing point. My bad, y'all. So I'm going to line it up with the corner going back to the vanishing point, and I'm going to draw this line too long so that I can erase it. All right? This is just the little side here. It goes back to the vanishing point just like this. Whoop, and I'm going to draw it too long so that I can erase it. It is always easier to draw it too long and erase it than it is to draw it too short and have to try to extend it. Okay, so a little too long, it's not a big deal. We've got our cute little erasers that will take care of it, so we've got this. Now I'm going to do what I was just telling you. Get my ruler parallel to the horizon, and then this is why I needed that, because I've got to tell where it's going to go. I'm just going to make a little dot. I lined it up with the back leg here, right? I've lined it up with the back leg here, and then I made a little dot where I need to draw it on this line. Okay, I'm going to show you that one more time. I'm lining it up with this leg right here, and then I'll make a little dot right there so I know where it goes on the converging line. And then I'll turn my ruler so that it's perpendicular to the horizon and parallel to the table legs. Straight up like that. That's the end of it. All right, guys. So the sofa will look like this, and I realize that this is kind of a stiff and sad little sofa. This is just basic sofa form. After we learn how to make sofa form, you can always just round the lines, and that will make it look cushy and like something that you want to actually sit on. And we can look at your ideas, like from your vision board of furniture you want to draw, and change and alter these things so that they look more like what your ideas are. But really, we're just taking the basic shape, and we have to carve out the arms, right? In the same kind of way that we were doing the tabletops. It's really similar, it's just the other way. And then we'll be making little cushions, and you can make 1, 2, or 3 cushions depending on how wide this structure is on the couch form you make. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the farthest arm. So this arm right here. I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to make it parallel to the side, right? And guys, when we end these lines, remember, just like we talked about at the beginning of the class period, we have to go up, over, up, up, over, up. You can't skip. So we have to go, actually, we're not going up on this. We're going up and over. Up, and then parallel to the horizon. Over. So perpendicular to the horizon, parallel to the horizon. Up, over. We don't need the other part, I forgot, because that's the back of the sofa. We already got the other line. We're going to come back here, and we're going to do the further away arm, remembering to make it very small because it's very far away. Take your ruler, make it perpendicular to the horizon, and draw the line from this top orthogonal over. And then we're probably going to have a dumb line back here that makes us uncomfortable. Won't be wrong, it's just going to be dumb looking. So it will be parallel to the horizon. Just like that. And it's going to be real skinny. So I need to be careful to make sure that my pencil's straight up and down. There he goes. Not a lot of a line, just a little bit of a line. And when you're drawing the 2 H's, we always want to make sure we're using the 2 H's, and you've got to make sure that they're really pointy. And we have to draw straight up and down like this. If you're drawing on the side, it makes them go to the wrong place. They're fat and they take up space. After that, we're erasing 2 lines. One line is at the top of the little cushions, the arms, and then one line is along the back side of the sofa. We're going to leave this bottom one because that's the bottom of the couch. So our next little part is to make cushions and maybe end the sofa arm over here. Some of us will need to end the sofa arm, some of us won't. It depends on how big your shape is, okay? So what we're gonna start with is these two lines that will end, or will create the cushion shape. So in order to do that, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm drawing it to the vanishing point in between the couch arms, however tall you want it to be. Go like that, and then I'll just pull it down a little bit, still going to the vanishing point. Just like that. Okay, so this is the top of the cushion, and then that's the bottom of the cushion. Okay, now my one here, you see how much of this back arm you can see here? I'm going to need to draw this line going this way, parallel to the horizon, and then going straight up like this to end that cushion to figure out where the back end goes. So I'm going to line my ruler up with this little convergence, making sure that it's parallel to the horizon, and I'll draw my line over. If you do that and it's getting into this arm, you don't have to do what I'm doing, it just depends. And then I'll take my ruler and make it perpendicular to the horizon. Draw the line going straight down, and now I've got a chair arm going back that way. I've got to erase this little extra line, because remember, we always make the lines a little bit too long rather than a little bit too short, because it's so much easier to erase them. All right, now we've got to draw the back side of the cushions. They look like the front side and they go to the vanishing point. So I'm lining up my ruler with the vanishing point, bringing it up to where this chair arm ends, drawing the line back. Now we have a very long, skinny chair or a couch with only one big cushion. If we want two cushions and we want them to be even, what do we need to do? Say it again. We're measuring, we're making X marks the spot again, right? So I'm going to go corner to corner on this front little tiny plane here. Corner to corner on the front little tiny plane here. And that tells you where the cushion needs to go. It goes to right here, and then it's parallel to the horizon as it goes back. Okay, and that will make your completed 3-box and complex forms practice.